This should do. How do you feel?
Can't complain. After all, there's a cozy tree in my back.
I promise, this will be the last fire. After tonight, it won't be trees anymore, but walls and a roof. In Shiring, I will find a job.
What if the bishop wants to hire you for life? To keep his palace in shape, but maybe strengthen the town's defences? Plain things, Tom Builder. Just walls and roofs.
There. Took me a lifetime to find some dry ones in this wet. Why didn't we just use your staff? That old thing would have done nicely.
Because that thing is precious. It's not made to burn. And we might be able to sell it. Right, now let's see if this does the trick.
Martha, you want to cut up some turnips? We'll be making soup.
If it helps.
Alfred, you go and look for water.
We could just eat snow.
No, it'll be proper water for my family. You sit, I'll take care of it.
You still haven't answered my question, Tom Builder. What if the bishop offered you a job like they did in Exeter? Something that is beneath your craft, but pays for a lifetime. Easy work.
Well, building something is never easy.
You know what I mean. After Exeter, you said I could create something that matters, something that stands for eternity, or I could die setting up houses and sheds. But what if houses and sheds would feed your family? Would you stay this time, or would you keep on looking?
I'd be glad to stay.
Would you now? Just promise me you'll think about it. Can you see the sun yet?
No, but Martha...
Don't distract me. I'm working.
Maybe we can sell the baby.
Alfred!
I'm joking. Don't listen to me.
Beautiful. It's just more woods down that way. Nah, no getting through there. I can't carry it in my hands. No, it'll be proper water for my family. Too hard for my fist, but my pot should break it. Houses and sheds. Oh. Walls and roofs. be glad. I should be glad.
Tom, what's keeping you? And did you think about what I asked you?
Dreaming of building a cathedral was foolish. When we get to Shiring, I'll take the job.
Why is a cathedral so special?
Well, you've seen a few. You should know.
Yes, but there are so many already. Why do you have to build another one? Is it because God needs more houses?
May I?
If you must.
Well. Actually, a cathedral isn't so different from any other house. It always starts simple, with some walls.
And on top of that, you put a roof.
Very good. A roof to keep off the rain, and walls to keep up the roof. Together that makes one big, long, but dark room. Like a cave. Now, we mustn't forget the doors. And not only doors, but a big and impressive one to let in as many people as possible.
But isn't it still dark in there?
It is. So, what do you suggest?
Windows, of course.
Right. So the people inside can see what they're doing. By now, we've carved quite a few holes in our cathedral. Unfortunately, not every building can carry a roof like that and have so many windows.
So what do we do?
Good and solid work. That's what we do. If we don't want our cave to collapse, we have to make everything perfect. Not only strong, but consistent and perfectly even. The walls, the roof, the windows, everything perfectly proportioned.
You shouldn't say big words like proportioned when talking to a child.
What does it mean?
It means beauty. Well, it means not only will it keep them dry, it will give them hope. Agnes?
Mama?
The baby is coming.
But it's not due. Have your waters broken yet?
Soon after we started walking this morning.
You should have told me.
I'm so tired. I don't believe I can bring it into the world.
Oh, look at all the blood.
Let me cover you. Children? Alfred. Go and collect more wood. Let's have a bigger fire.
More wood?
I can do it. Let me.
Let Martha do it.
I'll be quick.
It'll take forever before she's back.
Get more water. Take snow if you must and make it warm.
Right.
Your hands are cold.
I could warm them for you.
No. Stay here. Please.
Remember when Martha was born and the Lady Isabella acted as midwife?
You were building a chapel, and you asked her to send her maid to fetch the midwife from the village.
Yeah, and she said, that drunken old witch won't let her deliver a litter of wolfhound pups. And she took us to our own chamber. And poor Lord Robert could not go to bed until Martha was born. I'd say for a year as bad as this one, we've managed quite well.
You lost your work, and then Martha almost got killed by that pig thief. You call that well?
I know. But we're still here for each other, aren't we? Holding together as a family. Us builders aren't carved out of measly wood. Never were.
Expect a lump of granite to come falling from my legs?
I wouldn't be surprised.
The water's warm now.
Put it next to me.
Is the fire better now?
Can you feel the warmth?
Yes.
I'm here with you.
I know. It's not long now. Be ready.
I'm proud of you.
I feel so weak.
You'll make it. You're a strong woman. That's why I love you so much.
Two of a kind, eh?
She's losing too much blood.
I'm sorry that I kept quiet all day. I didn't want anyone to worry.
It's all right.
The day was hard enough on everyone without me complaining.
I know. But we will get through this.
It's coming! Help me, Tom! It's coming!
I can see it.
It looks horrible.
He's perfect. A perfect boy. You're still bleeding.
It's all right. It will stop soon. Tom,
Yes?
you make a fine midwife. Did you know that? Do you remember the night I came to you? In your lodge? When you were working on my father's church?
Of course. How could I ever forget?
I never regretted giving myself to you. Never. For one moment. Every time I think of that night, I feel so glad.
Me too.
I hope you build your cathedral.
I thought you were against it.
I was. But I was wrong. You deserve something beautiful. Build a beautiful cathedral. For me.
Agnes, wake up.
Mm-hmm. year of our Lord 1135 had come to an end. King Henry of England, son of William the Conqueror, had died. It was a time of poverty and death. In their despair, some had come to believe Christ and all his saints had gone to sleep, and that the pillars of the earth themselves had begun to crumble. Is there no one to welcome us?
Who goes there? You just crossed the bridge, right? That'll be a farthing for you and a penny for your horse.
Monks and villagers don't have to pay a toll.
Sorry, I'm not good at this. I told Brother Paul. It's not easy doing the Lord's work when you're hungry.
I will let the prior know you neglect your duties. Take care of my horse, I'm late.
I'll just leave it with me. I'll get it down to the priory later, once I've caught myself a fish down here by the river. Fresh fish is much better than the salted ones they feed us.
Prior James will hear about this.
Prior James? That's him the bells are tolling for. Don't you know? The devil has come to Kingsbridge.
The devil has come to Kingsbridge? It's locked.
When he opened the sixth seal, I looked, and behold, there was a great earthquake.
There's no one here either. Where are they? Closed. Why did they lock it? Maybe the side entrance is open.
Thou shalt not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the pestilence that walketh in darkness. The pestilence that rode in on the lightning that struck our cathedral 4 years ago. Did you not all feel its presence here ever since? James did, and I did as well. But the Lord says, because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. Our beloved Prior James has served the Lord all his life. He shall be delivered from the darkness, from this dark earth.
Prior James.
Philip.
Francis?
Shh. For many years, James has been our prior. After the upcoming election, I vow to lead Kingsbridge Priory with the same steady hand. Amen.
Philip, we told your brother you'd come to Kingsbridge New Year's Day.
I did not expect to see you here.
I was on my way back to Gloucester and wanted to see you.
A priest working in the world of politics. You must tell us about it, Francis.
Of course.
And his brother a prior of what now? 2 years?
It's been 4 years, Cuthbert.
I see. How are things in St. John in the Forest, Philip?
Our little cell is happy and healthy.
Happy and healthy. Thanks to your brother, Francis, St. John in the Forest is prospering. His novices are obedient, his monks humble and pious. Well, our own priory is in such a sorry state.
You know James did the best he could. It was not his fault. Also, they make a remarkable cheese in St. John's. Come by the kitchen later to see us, will you?
Brother Cuthbert seemed upset.
Well, we all are. The way James died was disturbing.
Disturbing? How did Prior James die?
7 days ago, Brother Remigius found James's room empty. We all looked for him for hours. Then we found his footprints by the bridge and a hole in the ice.
Oh no.
No.
In the small hours of Christmas Day, he must have walked out on the river. We didn't even find his body. The river took him, and the cold.
I will pray for James. See me when you have time, Philip. I will be in the cathedral.
And I should go and see how Brother Cuthbert is doing. It's good to see you, Philip. Maybe things will get better after the chapter elects the new prior.
Hopefully. I will come by the kitchen later, Milius.
Brother Marcus said he's taking a beating now once a week.
You look like you want to ask me something.
You are Philip of Gwynedd?
Yes, but you can call me Brother Philip.
You see? Told you he wouldn't mind.
Yes. Now ask him.
How about you ask him?
I already asked Brother Andrew.
That doesn't count. He wouldn't answer.
What is it?
Brother Milius told us you know the scripture very well. Could you tell us about God's temple?
Brother Andrew wouldn't tell us.
Must be a place. A cathedral.
That's probably what the guest master was talking about.
Andrew wouldn't tell you? Why?
He got very angry with us.
We had to say the Lord's Prayer 150 times.
Each of us is God's temple, for he created us.
The guest master said Prior James destroyed God's temple.
And that you'll go to hell.
For a self-murderer, there is no salvation.
What if the devil takes our souls too?
Commit yourselves to God. Be humble and pious. Be without sin. God's grace will not allow the devil to lay hand on any of you. Prior James will face judgment. It is between him and God. Do not be afraid.
No, Brother Philip.
Thank you, Brother Philip. So, again, we're all God's temple.
Brother Ronaldus, how are you?
Huh? What?
How are you? Are you well?
Oh, Brother Philip. Yes, I am well. It's just that the dead won't stay in the ground.
What?
The dead. It's probably those badgers always digging up the graves.
My father gave the priory a good deal of land to keep me fed. I won't eat salted fish all day.
Me neither.
Shall we go into the cellar again tonight?
Yes, Brother Marcus. You still have old Cuthbert's keys?
Indeed I do. I hid them right in the church. Stuffed them in the large crack in the wall.
I could do some crack stuffing myself.
I bet you could. We should go to shiring sometime. Heard they have a big-titted harlot there. One that would even do you.
What's that supposed to mean?
I asked not to be disturbed.
Brother Remigius, I'm sorry I interrupted your service.
You mean Prior James's service?
Quite so. I heard he fell through the ice. Horrible.
Yes. I was the one who found his rosary by the river. Now let me continue my work.
Why would Prior James walk out onto the river at night?
He was chased.
Chased? By whom?
The accuser.
But why would the devil be chasing him?
Better to not get involved in all this. Don't you have your own priory cell to run?
You really believe the devil killed the prior?
Some of the brothers do, and I respect their beliefs. We may never know what happened, and that's that. Now let me get back to my work.
This priory is so much bigger than our small cell in the forest. The novice said he hid the keys in here. They're here. I have them. The cathedra. It is not for me to take that seat. Our Father that art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Locked. Let's see what we can find. No reason to be afraid. Nothing here. The saint rests in peace. These old cathedrals are bound to make strange sounds. Hello? Ah! What is that? What is that? It's the size of a child. Hello? Oh! Oh. An owl. Just an owl. The saint rests in peace. I'm happy to see you, little brother.
It's good to see you too, Philip. Your hair is starting to get a bit grey.
Yours isn't. At least in this one case, I will be the one to boldly charge ahead of you.
You've always been bold. You You just don't admit it to yourself.
Francis, what are you doing here?
King Henry is dead.
I know. Word reached St. John shortly before I left.
First the king, and now Prior James.
God has a plan.
I know he does, but King Henry's death caused quite a commotion in the world of politics. Dark times are coming. There will be war.
If only we could stop the suffering.
Maybe we can. I came not just to meet you. I was sent to look for a messenger of my lord, Earl Robert.
Here? In Kingsbridge?
Farmers said the messenger was heading for Kingsbridge 2 weeks ago. The knight was carrying a confidential document that might change the course of the conflict. People here trust you. Maybe the monks here know something?
We will find him.
One more thing. No one can know why we're looking for the knight.
All of us. Because God created us in his image. That's why we can all pray to him.
We don't need to go to church for that.
No, we are.
Philip!
Brother Milius.
Come! Warm yourself by the oven.
Is that Philip? Tell him to warm himself by the oven.
Thank you, Brother Cuthbert. Brother Cuthbert.
Ah, we were waiting for you. I hope you brought some of that wonderful cheese you make at St. John's.
Of course I did.
Splendid. Thank you.
I will prepare it for our brothers on Sunday.
Brother Cuthbert, you seem worried.
Prior James was a kind man, but the priory is in a terrible...
Knows. He was just too kind to say anything.
Yes, I know. Yes, I know. I wanted to use my New Year's visit to talk with Prior James about these matters.
We should be rich. The Priory has much land and collects from many parish churches. But we are in debt. Our novices steal from us, Philip.
The novices are stealing?
Yes, someone took my keys. Remigius blames me for losing them. But someone used them to steal food from the cellar more than once. Today I found something missing again.
Cuthbert, I believe I found your keys.
Where did you find them?
The thief hid them in the cathedral.
That is a sacrilege. Will you report the thief to Remigius, Brother Philip?
I will think about it.
Keep them until we know what to do, will you?
About the keys.
Will you report the thief to Remigius, Brother Philip?
I will think about it.
Keep them until we know what to do, will you?
Has there been a night to Kingsbridge recently?
Milius, wasn't there a poor soul found dead before Christmas?
I don't know if he was a knight.
He was put to rest in the cemetery.
The cemetery? That was the right thing to do. Let us continue another time, Brother Cuthbert.
Of course.
Hard at work, as usual, Milius?
I have to serve salt fish 6 times a week now.
We hear you have fresh fish every day at your cell in the forest.
Every other day, we even have poultry.
You have done wonderful work at St. John's, Philip. We, on the other hand, had a weak prior for 13 years. May the Lord rest his soul. What you worked hard for at St. John's is wasted here in the mother house.
After the election, the new prior ought to put things right.
Remigius? Put things right.
Who would vote for Remigius? He would be no better than Prior James.
He is the sub-prior, and he made promises to some of the brothers, like the sacrist. He's about to burn all the books and documents in the prior's room, including the priory's ledgers.
Remigius says James asked for everything to be burnt after his death, except for his Bible.
What? Without the ledgers, the priory's finances will be beyond saving. Was no one else nominated?
Only Cuthbert.
I refused. I'm too old.
No one else dares to follow in Prior James's footsteps. Not since he began talking to the devil.
What?
One day he started talking to the devil, as if they were standing side by side. He was bargaining with the devil for his soul, whispering about his sins.
His sins? Did you see a knight in Kingsbridge?
You mean, aside from the nobles attending the Christmas service? No, I don't remember any knights visiting us.
We'll talk more later. Ah, wonderful.
I always put some extra stones on the stove to warm up water. Put one in your pocket, and you'll keep warm.
Oh? Ouch!
Careful, they're hot.
Nice and warm, and I didn't burn my hands, Milius.
I knew you could do it.
James, I pray for you that when you stand before God, he will look upon you with mercy. Here, Paul.
Oh. Ouch! Oh. A hot stone! Ah! It's a mercy, Philip. Thank you.
Remigius should give you a fire, or not have you sit here at all.
I don't really mind. Winter is bound to end sometime. Philip, if you ever run into trouble with Remigius, be careful to answer him. Do not stay silent.
Silent?
Nothing makes him angrier than someone who doesn't answer. He becomes weak and defensive. It's not fitting for a sub-prior, let alone prior. This hot stone is a blessing, Philip.
What's wrong with your foot, Brother Paul?
Oh, just a chilblain. It will ease when the spring comes, and the hot stone really helps, Philip.
You should have a fire.
It's all right. It's not that cold.
Don't take it lightly. Many will die this winter for lack of food or shelter.
Remigius thinks the Lord is testing us. Only the sinners perish.
No, the poor perish. And those that he has freezing out here.
Don't say anything to Remigius, will you? If he thinks I've been complaining, he'll be displeased.
Have you heard about a knight in Kingsbridge?
A knight? Yes. He was just lying by the road, just a mile away from the priory. He must have fallen from his horse.
Where is he now?
He died. We buried him in the cemetery.
Did he have a name? Did he say anything?
He could not speak. But the look in his eyes told me he was afraid. I held his hand and prayed with him while he died.
Did the knight have anything with him?
There was a letter. I gave it to Prior James. Remigius will probably burn it with the rest of James's papers. James insisted that all his books and documents shall be burnt after his death, except for his Bible.
I heard about this. I think that would be unwise.
Sometimes I wonder if it was because of that letter. A few days later, Prior James fell through the ice. Right here, Philip. Maybe I brought a curse on Kingsbridge.
For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Have faith in the Lord, Brother Paul. You did well.
Thank you, Philip.
What is it? Can you not see that I'm working?
I would like to take a look at Prior James's documents.
And why is that, Brother Philip?
Well, our little cell has given much to the Mother House. I would like to ensure that all is accounted for.
So you do not trust us, Philip, is that it?
The state of this priory...
The state of this priory is the concern of the Prior of Kingsbridge.
I still would like to see the prior's documents.
They will be burned tonight.
I heard about that.
It was Prior James's last wish. I'm following his request.
But the new prior will be lost without the ledgers and contracts.
After the election, I'll be the new prior.
For now, you are not. Only the chapter meeting can decide on these matters.
Of course. Brother Andrew will surely understand why you would go against James's last request. If you really want to be of help, look for Brother Cuthbert's keys. He's getting old, misplacing them all the time.
But why a church then? Why cathedrals? Why do we...
What we have to ask ourselves is, can our St. Adolphus still protect Kingsbridge in these dark times?
He couldn't protect Prior James. Ever since that lightning struck the cathedral, he wasn't the same.
When you take over my position as sacrist, you should implore the bishop to send us a new relic. By then I'll be sub-prior. The new prior and I will support you in this.
A new relic might also attract more pilgrims.
Philip of Gwynedd, I wanted to talk to you. How dare you disturb Brother Remigius' requiem?
I'm afraid the choir is waiting for me.
Stay, brother. There's no reason you shouldn't hear what Philip has to say for himself.
I beg your forgiveness. I was overwhelmed when I heard Prior James passed.
You should know better. I'm sure at St. John's you're a good prior, but here we adhere to the rules.
We can't allow Prior James's books to be burned.
That, Philip, was Prior James's wish.
This priory is in debt, and without the ledgers and documents, that will never change. Besides, the wisdom in his books is priceless.
It is not up to you to make decisions in this priory, Brother Philip.
Do not domineer over those in your charge, but be an example to the flock.
1 Peter chapter 5. You are right. You shall argue your case in front of the brothers in a chapter meeting today.
Thank you, Brother Andrew.
When I'm done here, I will tell all the monks to come to the chapter house.
Would it help if I went and told some of them?
Feel free to do that. But I insist that the choir finishes practicing before we start. They're already behind schedule.
Isn't it almost arrogant to try and build a greater temple?
Don't say that.
Why not?
No. I heard it, I'm sure.
There was something. He's right.
You seem troubled, brother.
They won't sing. It's Adolphus. There was nothing, believe me.
I heard him crying in the crypt. I think I heard him too.
No, you are mistaken.
It sounded like a whip, like he was chastising himself. It's the end of days.
Brother Philip, please help me. Prove to them that there is nothing and no one down there.
There is no need to worry, brothers. Adolphus is resting in peace. It was just an owl.
I told you it was nothing.
God bless you, Brother Philip.
I knew I heard something.
Now, be silent, concentrate, and...
We wouldn't be here if it weren't for the cathedral.
The choir has finished singing. The cantor should find time now. Are you ready for the chapter meeting, Brother Philip? If you have any other business to take care of in Kingsbridge, do it now. The meeting could take a long time.
The chapter meeting is more important.
Of course. But there is one more matter I need to address first. We are still looking for the man who stole Cuthbert's keys. Do you know who the thief is?
I cannot give you a name.
If there is a thief among us, we shall find him, if God so wills. Now, let us begin.
And this is why Prior James's wish must not be honoured. Kingsbridge Priory would be beyond saving without financial records.
I think we have all understood the reason for your concern, Brother Philip. But before we come to a decision, let us hear other voices of concern.
I would like to know why you would doubt the wisdom in Prior James's decision.
Maybe you didn't know him as well as we did, Philip. I can say I knew him well. We all here knew him. So did you know him.
How wise was Prior James, really?
Philip, you are going too far. I will tell
Brothers,
let him
Prior.
Brother, let's hear what he has to say.
Let Philip speak.
Oh, heavens.
Hear him out, brothers. I was stubborn as well, but he made me see it.
Well, that's not an easy thing to do.
Yes.
I owe James much. He was the one who asked me to take care of St. John in the Forest.
One of the most prosperous cells in all of Shiring, if not England.
It was a wise decision then.
But his last wish was not. Well, was it? What are you waiting for? Answer me.
Is walking on thin ice wise?
Who does he think he is?
May the Lord forgive him. He knows not what he is saying.
No. Philip was very hesitant to talk about the state of this priory with me. Usually, he is as careful in his words as he is in his actions.
Yes. Philip asked us a question. Was it wise to walk out onto the ice?
God was testing Prior James.
I say the devil chased him. Do you doubt that? Do you doubt that, Philip? Surely you must have an answer. I know because Prior James confided in me.
If the Lord tested James, then he is testing all of us. I trust the Lord, so did James, and so should all of you. He was misguided when he walked onto the ice that night, as he was misguided in his last wish, whatever or whoever misguided him.
Prior James will face judgment. It is between him and God.
The novices would be better advised not to speak up.
Philip is a good man. He was the only one to say I should have a fire.
But did he do anything besides talk?
Yes, he brought me a hot stone.
That's our Philip.
Very well, Philip. But why don't you tell us the real reason you have come before us? You not only came to save these books, you have another motivation, do you not?
I am here only to help this priory.
This priory, of course. I say it is not a coincidence that he should make his voice heard now, shortly after James's passing and before the elections.
What are you saying, Brother Remigius?
This is not about James. It is about him. He wants to be prior.
No. I came here to talk to James.
I think that is a wonderful idea. I nominate Philip of Gwynedd to be the new prior of Kingsbridge.
I don't disagree with that.
Well, yes, obviously.
Excellent choice.
What about Remigius?
That's surprising.
Great
Prior
idea.
Philip.
Brother Philip, do you accept the nomination?
Thank you for your kind offer, but we would not want to impose on you, Brother Remigius.
Oh, but I insist. I will help you.
No, you really must not. We will see you later. Thank you. We don't have much time. Evening Mass will begin soon.
Should I not have accepted the nomination?
You've never been good at saying no. And Milius is right. Kingsbridge needs you.
What about St. John's?
I will ride there tomorrow. I will let them know you will be staying in Kingsbridge for a few days. Thanks to you, these documents and books will not be burned. Now, we have to find that letter.
You truly think the letter can help prevent a war?
If the message says what I think it says, then yes, I do. Now, let us look for the letter.
Prior James was working on a text. Our God is a consuming fire, and whom he destroyed shall be raised at the end of days, and shall destroy him. The first line is from the scripture, but I do not believe the second one is.
Philip, we must focus on the letter.
Nothing here.
If we must, we'll look between the pages of every single book. But for now, let's concentrate on the more obvious places to search.
James was involved in politics once, like you, before he became prior.
Just like me. You see, there is a way then. A way to connect politics and faith.
I wonder. Nothing under here. James spent much time writing in the last 10 years. Instead of a prior, he became more of a recluse.
That is what you monks do, isn't it?
It used to be. The handwriting on this tablet is hardly legible. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. Did Prior James write this?
Let's continue looking.
Francis, I think I found it.
In the Bible?
Revelations, the Apocalypse of St. John. And they called to the mountains and rocks, "Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who is seated on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of their wrath has come, and who can stand?" The Lamb? What was James afraid of? Was it this letter?
No, the letter is still sealed. Break the seal. Oh, this is it. You found it.
The Earl of Shiring is about to start a war.
Yes. He's made contact with my own master, Earl Robert of Gloucester.
Who is this King Stephen that has taken the throne?
A nephew of King Henry. Do you ever think of the day our parents died?
Francis, you know I don't like to talk of that.
I know. It's just that I think of them all the time. And I've always blamed King Henry. The Church suffered under his rule as much as we did in Wales. Philip, you have to show this letter to the Bishop of Kingsbridge.
The Bishop of Kingsbridge? Why?
Our late King Henry was opposed to Rome's influence in England. King Stephen, on the other hand, swore to preserve the rights and privileges of the Church, and we can help him if you tell the bishop to protect Stephen.
You want the bishop to help the new king, King Stephen?
I want a king who supports the Church. I want these dark times to end. I want to stop the Earl of Shiring from starting a war. He could set the whole of England on fire. My lord the Earl of Gloucester can never know what I was doing here. You must not tell the truth about how or where you got this letter. Don't tell anyone I was involved.
Do you really think the bishop will help?
Tell him you found the letter by coincidence.
And if he does not believe me, what then?
He will believe you. The question is, will he really try to stop the Earl of Shiring? I will ride to St. John's and tell your monks you will stay in Kingsbridge until the election.
What if the Earl of Shiring finds out what I'm doing? What if the bishop tells him?
Philip, calm down. He is your bishop.
I'm a simple monk. Who am I to talk to a bishop?